Good morning guys, and welcome to episode 2 of If It Fits Your Macros, the series that I probably will be using as just a vloggy day to day, show you what I'm doing, show you how the off season is going, and obviously taking you through a full day of eating and training. Today's a rest day, so there won't really be any training footage, but I'm on my post-show recovery in terms of calories at the moment. So calories are about 3,500 to 4,000 a day, which is very exciting. Managed to gain, since show day, I've gained about 3 pounds back, which is pretty good. Need to sort of get that up to the 5 pound mark, just because I did get quite lean, quite sucked up, quite depleted. So just to get general health markers back in check, that initial weight gain needs to come in the first week. So calories are a little bit higher, which obviously means food choices are a little bit more exciting. So I will not be eating spinach and egg whites in these videos, I can promise you that. So the plan for today, I've got some errands to do in Malvern, which is like the town right next to me, and they happen to have the fine British institution that is a JD Wetherspoons, and I will be frequenting there for breakfast to have my absolute favourite, which is the eggs royale, mate. It's like eggs Benedict but with salmon instead, and I'll be adding a shit ton of extra stuff like eggs and bacon on for breakfast. So I will catch up with you in the car on the way to do some errands. See you in a minute. So the topic of today's video is how to manage post-show weight gain and how to avoid a massive rebound of weight, because obviously you've been dieting for maybe 20 to 30 weeks if you've got in true stage condition. You don't want to go and fuck that up, because you've put yourself in basically the ideal position for an off season, whereas I can gain now. I can gain for 20 weeks at a pound a week and get back to, 40 weeks at a pound a week and get back to the weight that I started the cut at, obviously with a much higher level of muscle mass, hopefully, if the off season goes well. So it's important to try and keep it to a minimum. Obviously you have to gain an essential amount. This will vary from person to person and how lean you actually got, anywhere from maybe, even just a couple of pounds if you weren't as shredded as you could have been, or all the way up to 6-7 pounds, which is kind of the area that I'm going for, about 6 pounds. So I'm out here getting some steps in this morning, and that is actually tip number 1, which is don't just because the show's over, don't just cut out all your cardio straight away. So my highest amount of steps I was doing a day, because I wasn't actually doing any formal sort of in-gym cardio, was 23k. I'm out of breath. So yeah, I'm still on about 17 to 20,000 steps a day, and what that's doing is keeping expenditure high to try and keep up with the higher amount of calories coming in this week. So yeah, I think it's definitely important to keep up with your cardio and training, otherwise your expenditure is going to go massively down and your intake's going to go massively up, and obviously that's going to pile on the pounds quite quickly. So going to bang out the rest of this cardio. I don't know why I'm so out of breath, and I will catch up with you in the next clip. One small addition though to that last clip is in terms of actual resistance training. A lot of you are going to be in a point where you're actually going to need to deload in that final week, and the way to do that, I'd say, in regards to the expenditure, is what I've been doing is, instead of just dropping and not training all week, is I've been going in and doing a third of the volume that I do per session, just normally. Obviously it's probably not optimal in terms of deloading as quickly as possible to get back into training, but just for this week, I'm still getting the sessions in, but they're a third of the normal volume, and that's just helping to keep expenditure high, keep the muscles insulin sensitive, because obviously, they're going to be very insulin sensitive anyway if you've been dieting down to a very lean point. But it's just going to help to shuttle a lot of this excess carbohydrates that you're intaking in this sort of post-show period into the muscle, and just help that recovery. So definitely wise to keep the training, but deload if you need to. You're going to be so motivated when you finish your show, and I'm finding it proper hard to not go in and just smash every session, but I know I can feel it. My body is tired, dieting for 20 weeks, so yeah, you need to let it recover. But yeah, I'd definitely opt for a reduced training volume period for maybe a week, rather than just doing 4 days of just absolutely nothing before getting back in at full tilt. Right then, let's make the drive to the establishment. Right, 15 camera collapses and we are here in Waitrose car park. Let's go and get the spoons. Yes, sir. Cool. Can I get the eggs royale? Yeah. With a coffee to, like, unlimited coffee on the side. And can I add an extra sausage, an extra 2 slices of bacon, an extra fried egg, and an extra 2 scrambled eggs? Yeah, that's it. Thanks. So just outside waiting for the breakfast, but this is why I love the spoons, mate. Is there any better morning view than this? Like, massive breakfast, nice view from the hills, nice and warm, sick, man. Right. Yes, now so the absolute behemoth of a breakfast has arrived. Got bacon, sausage, fried egg, eggs Benedict, and some rocket on the. Oh, they fucked that up. It's supposed to be an eggs royale, but oh well. That was supposed to be salmon. And just an unlimited coffee. All of that only comes to 1,080 calories, so not too shabby. So while I cracked through this breakfast, I thought I'd go through the second point of today's video, which is in the post-show period, it's important to like make sure that you go out and actually do stuff with those extra calories, in terms of, you know, go out for a meal with friends and family and stuff that you have like not, you know, done, and go to places that you've missed. Don't just sit at home and crack through you know, like bags of like Rebels or something. There's just no point, because you're gonna then have to, you know, when you tighten up for the off season, you're again gonna have to be a little bit less like bingy. So I've been, you know, going out for food with friends and family, just being a lot more relaxed around food, and it also, you know, it makes it a bigger occasion, and you probably can. It's easier to limit yourself by having whatever you want at a restaurant than just sitting at home with drawers of food and just cracking through them, if that makes sense. So yeah, gonna eat this now and then go and do some errands. Right, so breakfast done, and as you can see from the videos, that was fucking paying. That was so good. A bit rude. Yeah, so now I'm gonna go get some steps in around Malvern, get the errands in that I've got to do, and then yeah, I'll catch up with you in the next meal, which will probably be at home, which will be a bit of a healthier one after that fat fest of a meal. So I'll catch you then. What's up, people? Still in the middle of errands, but popped into Waitrose to pick up some of this cacao and cherry innocent smoothie that's on deal for like £2. Best smoothie hands down I've ever tasted. Gonna have 2/3 of this just sort of sipping throughout the day. It's like 3 of my 5 a day, and like 300 calories of just basically just pure fructose, but fuck it, it's tasty. I'm gonna get it in, gonna go and fill up with petrol, and then probably go home, do a bit of editing, and sit down and do some more tips on post-show rebound. So I will see you then. Right guys, so it is about 2 o'clock now. Just getting in another little protein feeding, not really a big meal. I literally just got 2 of the Quark yogurts, so they're 90 calories each, 17 proteins, that's 34 protein. And having this sushi vegetable snack pack that I got from a meal deal the other day but didn't eat. So with this meal, that basically brings me to my next point about post-show, which is keep your protein high. My protein at the end of prep was about 200 grams a day. Since finishing prep, it's been on at least 240 plus. This is just going to help with, one, satiation, because obviously protein, as you know, is the most, let's move that, satiating of the macronutrients, so it's going to make you feel fuller, and if you're getting in a load of extra protein with your new food, it's going to help stop you binging, just unnecessarily. And also it's just going to help with the recovery process after the show. Your body can probably utilize, you know, a higher amount of protein in this stage, as long as you're spreading that 240 grams of protein over like 5 to 6 different protein feedings. It's really going to help, because obviously, you know, you've got all this diet fatigue, diet stress and everything. So if you're not giving your body adequate protein during that window, after the show, it's just a recipe for recovery, really. I mean, you're going to be getting protein from all the foods you're eating, you know, like filling up, but, you know, make sure you're getting your 5 gram of leucine based protein sources in consistently post show. What's up, guys? So we're back in, it's about 4:30. Just been for a little bit of an Aldi haul, just picked up some essentials, and yeah, I'll show you what I got. For what I got for this meal now, and a couple of other meals, obviously, I've got some wraps, some turkey mince, and some chopped iceberg lettuce. Gonna have that with like the Caesar dressing. You know, a little bit of a bulkier meal, just to fill me up a bit. Gonna have, with this meal as well coming up, gonna have half a tub of each of these. These are absolutely insane. They're basically Breyers, but cheaper from Aldi. I don't know if I've shown you these before in a video, but yeah, so like 300 calories, 18 protein, so they're really good just to round off a meal. More of this skyr to go in oats later, absolutely paying, good macros, whatever. And the latest addition in the Slimwell line of products that I'm trying out from Aldi. They're like $1.90 or something, and the macros are insane. Look at that, 400 calories, 4 fat, 44 protein, chicken chow mein, ready to go. So yeah, I'll make this and this right now, and I'll catch up with you in a minute. So there is the pre-rolled wrap, literally just the turkey mince, the lettuce and 2 sauces, both low calorie sauces. So yeah, the damage for that is 700 calories and 60 protein, I believe. So gonna roll these up and smash them now, and I'll talk about my next tip. So the next tip is essentially what I've done with this meal here, and that's just because you may, you know, be free to have like a couple extra 1,000 calories above what the lowest you were on prep, doesn't mean that you should start to neglect like higher volume meals, because otherwise you're just probably going to be eating the same food volume just for higher calories, and your body doesn't really know how nutrient dense the food is. It just knows about being like full, and it's going to take your hormones such a while to recover after the show that, you know, you may as well keep it temporarily satiated with volume and then just let it recover due to, you know, the calories and the body fat going on. But just, you know, eating the same volume of Kit Kats as you are to like turkey mince salad wraps, like you're going to get way more calories in, and it's going to be way more likely that you're just going to, you know, decide, fuck it, I'm just going to eat an extra 3,000 calories over the extra 3,000 calories that you're giving your body. Because once you start giving your body calories, you get hungry until your body sort of levels out at a place where it feels happy again. So yeah, to summarize the tip, just, you know, still have big wholesome meals. Don't just keep snacking on sugary and fatty shit the whole time. It's quite obvious really, that one. But so a little bit later at 6 o'clock, and time for gonna watch The Simpsons and eat an entire tub of chopped chia cookie dough. Only 352 calories and 20 protein. So another little protein feeding for me. Gonna really enjoy this. This is another little tip. It's not really one of the main ones, but there's no reason not to go for, like, you know, the nice diet stuff like this still. Like, I could have had a tub of Ben & Jerry's instead, and that would have put me like 1,100 calories back rather than 350 for like relatively the same satiation. So yeah, definitely a good tip to stick with stuff like this. Right then, guys, it's like about hour and a half later. Really nice sunny evening where we are. So me and the big mum are gonna go for a nice little walk on the hills, get some steps in, and I'll show you some insane views coming up in a sec. Wow, look at that, man. That is mental. That is one hell of a walk. Whee! Welcome to the vlog. Cool. So yeah, we're just gonna finish up our walk all the way to the big top of that big hill, and then go home and have some dinner, and then I'll see you there. So back from the walk, and just gonna chuck in the next edition of the Aldi meal tests of the Slimwell chicken chow mein. So that's gonna go in right now. Taste test review impending. I've got big hopes. I've got big hopes about this one. It looks pretty pink. So I'll see you in 13 minutes. So there's the actual thing plated up. First impressions, you definitely can tell it's cheaper, so from like Aldi, and 2, that it's a healthy one because it's not like coated in sauce. There is like, I mean, like, yeah, like there is like the chow mein style sauce, but it's not like incredibly thick. But it has got, you know, like a decent amount of broccoli, cabbage and carrots in. That's probably just over like around 1 to 2 of your 5 a day. And you know, there's only 4 grams of fat and 1 gram of saturated fat in there, so it is, you know, even though it is a microwave meal, it is actually pretty healthy, believe it or not. So yeah, right, let's set the camera up and see what this tastes like. So let's try and get a bit of everything on the fork, the food reviewer's fork, the most trusted source of food reviews. Right, so we've got a bit of chicken, bit of sauce, bit of noodles, and bit of veg. Those bits, you know, that's really nice. You wouldn't, if someone, you know, gave you a plate of just like a standard Tesco one that's like, you know, 15 grams of fat higher and a lot more calories, you probably wouldn't really tell the difference. They've done a pretty sick job there. Smashed that out of the park, Aldi. You're 2 for 2. So, gotta make my way through the Slimwell meals and find the best ones. But yeah, that's solid, mate. That's so good. So this also brings me to my next tip. Do you mind? A bit rude. For the post-show period, and that is kind of keeping the meal times of your foods like fairly consistent as much as possible, so you can kind of see the scale weight in the morning and get an accurate representation of how much weight you've actually gained. I've been in the habit of around anywhere from 7 to 8 o'clock having like my big sort of evening meal, and then before I go to bed I'll pretty much just have like a small bowl of oats like quite consistently. And what that does is allows me to, when I wake up, to get more of a fair assessment, because all my food's digested and like I've got a fairly, you know, just like empty weight to go on, rather than having a massive meal at like 10 o'clock and it's still being not digested in the morning and waking up a kilo heavier and freaking out. Because realistically it's 3,500 calories per pound of body weight that you're going to put on in excess, so you're not going to be putting on a huge amount like very quickly, but you are if you're going to be putting on scale weight if you're eating like late in the evening, and that's probably something you haven't been doing during prep as well. You haven't been smashing like 2,000 calories before bed, because that would be probably your whole day's intake. So that's the tip in summary. Basically, don't even if you do start smashing big meals in the evening, keep doing that consistently, so you get a sort of consistent representation of your actual weight gain. Right guys, so it is about 10 o'clock, and yeah, as I mentioned in the last clip, time for the final meal. Just 2 sachets of the golden syrup porridge, a small scoop of whey protein, and 100 grams of blueberries. I've been pretty much consistently having this meal before bed, because one, oats make me feel like really like nice and full and satiated, so I can go to bed feeling nice and full. Today is the best day of terms of hunger. Like I could probably not eat this and go to bed, but you know, I've still got weight to gain, so I'm gonna get that in me. But yeah, my hunger levels are sorting themselves out really nicely, so really happy with that. I'll show you this when it's done. You know, it's just a bowl of oats, but I'll talk about my final tip for the day. So just getting in the last meal here, which is the oats that I just showed you in the previous clip. Consistency is absolutely paying and so tasty. The last tip is pretty simple. Don't neglect your water and salt intake during this time, because water and sodium are what help to transport carbohydrate intermuscularly, right? So yeah, it's just good to keep your water intake up with high carbohydrate meals to help shuttle all of these carbohydrates and blood sugars to the muscle where they need to go. It's just, yeah, it's going to help. Also, if you're really high intake and your digestion's quite bad, maybe look into something like a glucose disposal agent, or maybe just add cinnamon, which is a really good natural glucose disposal agent to a lot of your meals, and that's just going to help your digestion and getting your blood sugar levels down a little bit quicker. So that was a full day of eating on my post-show recovery phase, between 3,500 and 4,000 calories. I estimate what I ate to be roughly around 3,600 today, a little bit on the lower end, because I am trying to, I'm trying to keep it on the lower end, because I am trying to fix my hunger as well, because when I do transition into tightening up for the off season, it looks around 3,200, 3,300 calories is going to be enough to put on 0.5 to a pound a week. So I want to kind of get back to that level and feel happy with the amount of food I'm eating, which is going very well, very happy about that. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you could like and subscribe, and I hope some of the tips that I've been over in this video come in useful for anyone coming off show. And yeah, wicked. I will see you in episode 3 of If It Fits Your Macros coming out soon. Thanks very much. Bye.